welcome to another episode of Talking College Football with JJ Kitchen. Of course, I'm your host, JJ Kitchen. Well, it's been one hell of a day in terms of news between last night, Beanie Bishop, the backup cornerback and backup safety for the Pittsburgh Steelers and former West Virginia Mountaineer, really messes up this time and gets absolutely demolished online. But even so much that this morning, the real conversation started to happen this morning on 93.7 The Fan between Adam Crowley, Doran Dickerson, and Callis, who does a really good job of producing the show early on in the morning for 93.7 The Fan. Many different topics going back and forth there, but it's crazy. They always ask, what's a comparison? What is an alignment between Beanie Bishop and West Virginia? The two, stupidity and low class. At this time today, I'll tell you what, it was pretty crazy to see late last night, that Beanie Bishop puts out, and this is kind of how it all started late last night. I want to say after midnight. I was happening to do a little bit of extra work from my office, getting back home late, especially after the gym. And I see Beanie Bishop posting up on Twitter from people who are posting it, basically going into a locker room at Pitt and between their facilities, the facilities they share, and basically grabbing his cleats, wearing new cleats, and then just being over top of a Pitt logo and just brushing up against it and just really just standing on it, stomping on it, and really disrespecting the logo at Pitt. Here's what people I have to tell them the truth here. This is not like it's two players. One, it's not like it's players that are currently on Pitt. Beanie Bishop was a guy that played for WVU for one single season. He jumped around between 3 or 4 different teams, had a good year at West Virginia, went undrafted, which is pretty normal for West Virginia, gets undrafted, ends up going to the Steelers. He's fighting for a job. Right now, he is fighting for a job. Right now, he's projected to get cut by the Steelers before the beginning of the season. So he needs to do everything that he can to win a job right now with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but he's too busy during headshots for Sunday Night Football stomping on the Pitt logo. And what's even crazier is during the mornings, Adam Crowley finds out and Doran Dickerson finds out that Pitt allows the Steelers to use their facility, which, again, West Virginia fans might not know this. Again, common sense. And I know that's hard for West Virginia fans. Common sense. Pitt pays for their side of the facility. Pitt pays for all their stuff. And I saw the comments today, like, for instance, a guy told me today that Pitt's mooching off the Steelers. Last time I checked, the Steelers needed Pitt to get that stadium because of the taxpayers of the city of Pittsburgh said they didn't want to build Acrisure, or at the time, Heinz Field. Okay, and Pitt did its due diligence. It made a mistake at tearing down Pitt Stadium, in my opinion. There will be a time when that stuff comes back up. But guess what? At the end of the day, it's a professional athlete. A professional athlete for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I made this alignment too before I get to the sponsors here. That's if, like, Pitt players, for instance. What if this is a two-way street? So a Pittsburgh Steeler can go into the locker room at Pitt, stomp on the Pitt logo, disrespect it, film it, post it online. What happens if guys from Cleveland who play on the Pitt Panthers go over to the Steelers side and stomp on the Steelers logo? What do you think is going to happen around town? Disrespectful. He plays at Pitt. He's disrespecting the Steelers. He should be cut from the team. All this garbage. There's a major, major difference than a guy who's on the team at West Virginia, whether he's posting a picture, like with the poop emoji. That's fine. Whatever. That's part of the rivalry. I love rivalries, but this is overdrawing on the line. This is going over the line and going past what needs to be done. It's a professional athlete, or supposed to be a professional athlete for however long he is. It's maybe his last season. He's in the NFL anyways. In this time period, he had one thing to do: go get his headshot, which, by the way, they asked to use the Pitt side because the Steelers side is not updated. It's an absolute just shit show on that side. So Pitt invests on its side, spends millions of dollars yearly on facilities, and then allows them to go into the Pitt side and then absolutely disrespects the Pitt logo. That's completely different. And Doran Dickerson, who was on 93.7 The Fan, former Pitt tight end All-American, basically went off on Adam Crowley. And even Callis went off on Adam Crowley, and just on the way to work this morning, the phone calls going into 93.7 The Fan and was just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, just crushing Adam Crowley in West Virginia. I mean, it was a rough day for West Virginia when it comes to the majority of people who understand and say, hey, that's crossing the line. It's not like when fans are talking back to each other, which, by the way, West Virginia fans are certainly well known for their debacles. I mean, Pat Narduzzi was on 93.7 The Fan. They were throwing full-blown beer cans at coaches while they were entering the field, while they were on the field. I know West Virginia fans say, well, they don't waste their beer. Well, imagine that. It's West Virginia. But guess what? Prove that he's wrong, and they can't. Before we get into the rest of the topics here tonight, I had to go through a little bit of a spiel there. The show is sponsored by Colonial Beer, located at 4986 Library Road in Bethel Park, PA, 15102. The Pitt Icy Light collaboration, corporate sponsorship there. Really good collaboration, good corporate sponsorship there. Again, very cool design. Go ahead and see that. Bill and Alan do an incredible job from top to bottom. They care about individuals. They certainly have a huge selection. You guys have seen me post the pictures of Colonial Beer online. A great place, great customer service, and people who work there are truly good people from top to bottom. If you want to go over there, make sure you go in there and see the multiple different selections they have between your heavier beers and your heavier beers and your lighter lagers. Again, the Pitt Icy Light cans in there. But whatever you have, especially when it comes to questions, make sure you ask for Bill and Alan. And again, they love to talk Pitt football too. They're great people. Make sure you get a hold of them. Go see Colonial Beer, located at 4986 Library Road in Bethel Park, PA, 15102. The show is also sponsored by Thompson Law Group. With Brian Thompson, call them at 724-799-8404 or visit them at thompsonattorney.com. Again, a lot of you got to meet Brian Thompson at the spring game. Some of you had met him before the spring game from last year at the Pitt games at Acrisure Stadium up in the North Club. An incredible individual, a special individual. He cares about you, the client, and the issues that you're going through. He'll guide you through the process, answer your questions. And the great thing about Brian is, being a smaller law firm, he cares about you, the individual, unlike the larger law firms that look at individuals like a number. Brian does a great job of asking you questions, but guiding you through the process to get the results that you need in your situation. Again, Brian comes from a great family, has a great family, and certainly does a lot of community service and volunteership when it comes to his area, and especially with his kids. Again, Thompson Law Group with Brian Thompson, an attorney on your side. Call them today at 724-799-8404 or visit them at thompsonattorney.com. The show is also sponsored by The Cake Collection, the coffee brand by Austin Kitchen. Go to www.kingscraft.com. Again, www.thekingscraft.com. The Cake Collection. I'm not a coffee guy, but let me tell you, Austin really got me into the AK Espresso. That is my favorite. I have one cup of that every morning. I'm good to go. It's very good for you, but more importantly, the amount of work that he did for research to fuel him, who, again, plays Major League Baseball, plays professional baseball, making sure that he's ready to go and field for the day. He wants to make sure he has the best in his system, and this is one of those products. Again, the K Collection coffee brand. Make sure you go see that by Austin Kitchen. Go to www.thekingscraft.com. All right, get to the comment section here. I know there's some comments rolling in. Again, if you have not done so, if you're in here now, hit the like button down below. Hit the like button, subscribe, and make sure you share this on Twitter or X, whatever you call it, on Facebook. Let me know your thoughts. Again, hit the like button, subscribe. And if you want to get your question on the screen here tonight, make sure you hit the super chat button down below, make a small donation, and then we'll raise it up onto the screen. First up, smash the like button, subscribe, and join Alliance 412 WRW Pitt. Amen. DJ Weeze, this is going to be a good one. It is going to be a good one because we're going to get into it here and call it a spade. West Virginia went over the line, but guess what? It needs to be boosted up, to say the least. John Christophic, Beanie Bishop is acting like a child. He owes Pitt an apology. I agree. I think what Beanie Bishop did today was over the line, just blatant stupidity. But then again, it's a West Virginia player, and sometimes those guys really don't think to begin with. John Ratcliffe, 2-0 Buccos. That's pretty good. Let's see here. There's a number of different clips. Also, too, it's funny. I saw Beanie Bishop had an interview later today. Actually had an interview after practice. Obviously didn't back down from his comments or what he did. He actually doubled down on it and said, man, I really think that, I don't care. They don't like me. I don't like, we don't like them. They don't like me. I mean, Beanie Bishop played at West Virginia for 1 year. I mean, for Christ's sake, 1 year. I mean, it's an absolute joke. And also, too, for the West Virginia fans who are saying, well, it's just a piece of carpet. I mean, I remember at Mount Lebanon High School, we had a carpet in the middle of the weight room, and you had to walk around it because it was basically, if you've been in a locker room, man, you've been on a football team, you've been on a baseball team, anything, soccer, you name it. It's a special place. The locker room, the weight room is something different. And again, it's your place. To desecrate it, stomp on it, drag your feet, especially with cleats on, is stupid and beyond disrespectful. And it truly crosses the line, especially when Pitt invites you in to use their facility because your side of the facility is not any good, and allowing your players to get in there. Number two, last time I checked, there's 2 guys on the roster for now. Beanie Bishop probably won't make the team, but the other guy that's in there who actually has one great character, was a WVU football player for 4 straight years, a 4-year starter at West Virginia, and it lives and grew up in West Virginia, Zach Frazier. Funny how Zach Frazier didn't do any of that stuff, though, right? Funny how Zach Frazier didn't take a video. Funny how Zach Frazier didn't go in there, desecrate the Pitt logo. And guess what? He probably hates Pitt more than Beanie Bishop. Zach Frazier grew up in West Virginia. So why didn't he do it? And Crowley today on 92.7 The Fan was pretty defensive when he talked about, hey, I think overall, it's not that big of a deal. I didn't know a piece of carpet has feelings. Guess what? It's Pitt's locker room. They let you in there. I mean, let's be honest. And it was so funny that the comments started to stray away from that. I saw the comments from, a guy like Ben Booth, who says stupid stuff on a daily basis. But he was talking to a player, and I think it was Desmond Reed, and he said it was Desmond Reed or Rasheem Biles, and he said, mark this down. We're going to basically get after those guys. Ben Booth's like, well, if you needed this to get pumped up, you've already lost. That's the same guy that said that last year. I mean, guys are already pumped up for that game, you idiot. They already are pumped up for the game. It's a rivalry game. But guess what? You just added more ammunition to it. You just made it more personal. Those guys are always amped for the backyard brawl. But guess what? You made it more personal because you desecrated a Pitt logo on a national social media page, going online, posting it, and then having hundreds of thousands or millions of people view it. So yeah, you added more. So now it's beyond personal. So yeah, those guys, I can promise you, I know plenty of them. Yeah, they're beyond pissed off. They were mocking Beanie Bishop today at practice, which was pretty funny because he deserves it. And he said, well, I think that, that's like my fan club. No, they're not a fan of mediocre DBs in the NFL. Sorry, Beanie, they're not. Nice trying though. Like, good for you though. Hey, but enjoy the Steelers while you can, I guess. Adam Vincic, players are definitely more motivated now. I don't even think that they're more motivated. Like, those guys are always motivated. But it's the fact that you made it even more personal in their locker room. It's not like you saw a Pitt logo in West Virginia and you put up the middle finger, or you posted a picture and it had, ESP for Eat Shit Pitt. I mean, it's not like you posted something like that. You were actually in Pitt's locker room. They allowed you to use, and then you go on the logo and drag your feet, stomp on it, and desecrate it. I mean, first off, there's a hatred for this rivalry, but there's a level of respect off of it. And then there's a guy like Beanie Bishop who's been in the rivalry for 1 year because he hopped around from numerous schools. It didn't help him because he didn't get drafted. I mean, what did it matter? But it's crossing the line, and now you truly made it personal. Hey, at the end of the day, Pitt's always motivated to play the backyard brawl. That's why they're 2-1 in this series so far in 3 games. That's why Neil Brown had 4 losing seasons in 6 years. If you take away the COVID year, they had 4 losing seasons in 5 years. Even worse. And even in the last 3 years of Dana Holgorsen were horrible. Mediocrity. The only time they were relevant in the 21st century was in 2007. And who did they lose to? Oh, yeah, the Pitt Panthers. 13-9. They lost to the Pitt Panthers at Milan Puskar Stadium, which was a whole nother debacle. Today, talking about, well, you're playing at Acrisure Stadium, NFL Stadium, talking about attendance, whatever that had to do with it. In 2021 and 2022, Pitt averaged more than West Virginia. This past year, West Virginia was lucky to have 50,000 fans at their games. The only game they sold out was Penn State. They need games like Pitt and Penn. They need games like Penn State and Pitt to sell out their stadium, or else they don't sell the stadium out. And guess what? If West Virginia played in Acrisure Stadium, they'd have 20, 25,000 empty seats. That's a fact. It's not an opinion. Their numbers prove it. 9-13. I'd like to hope Jack Sawyer saw something as a young player. ESP, how mad he was after OSU Michigan. Yeah, I mean, I get that. If you're out there now, I can tell you this though. I wouldn't be shocked if Pitt wins the backyard brawl and they plant a flag at midfield. Wouldn't be shocked. But JJ Keaton Slovis said that thing at the Pitt pepper rally. Yeah. Like that had nothing. That's not even close to comparable. This is an NFL athlete who's a former West Virginia player. He's in the NFL. He's trying to make a team. He's more than likely going to get cut because he's not good enough. And you're gonna pull this stunt? You think it's gonna help you? Do you really think it's gonna help you make the team? I mean, good luck, buddy. And get Keaton Slovis said F West Virginia. Yeah, at a pep rally in front of other Pitt fans, not in West Virginia's locker room, not desecrating the West Virginia logo in their locker room. It just doesn't make any sense. Some of the excuses that they were making today just didn't make any sense across the board. It was kind of comical. Pitt players wanted to talk to him, and apparently he wouldn't chicken shit. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, he was saying like there was a fan club, but yeah, he wouldn't go over and talk to them. But then again, that's a typical West Virginia player. Makes no difference. And I can tell you this: I mean, that is to be in someone else's locker room and to desecrate the logo. I mean, if you've been on a team, any team, growing up into high school, to college, or guys in the pros, ask them about the locker room, man. That's their space. That's their home. And you're going to do that, and you think you can? That's a level of disrespect, not just from Beanie Bishop, but the Steelers. Last time I checked, again, what if it was a two-way street? And Carlos Zofko brought this up, and it was a great point. What if a guy from Pitt, who's a Cleveland Browns fan, goes over into the Steelers locker room and stomps on the Steelers logo? For a fact that the Steelers fans would lose their mind. I mean, for Christ's sake, there are Steelers fans losing their mind because Mason Rudolph and Miles Killebrew went to a Trump rally because it was for the U.S. Steel, and people saving their jobs. I mean, think about that. A great investment for the industry and across the board, keeping those jobs in the United States and MPA. They're just there to help out and be able, one, to go see the president of the U.S. I don't care who's in office, Republican or Democrat. If you're offered to go, you go and you meet that individual. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Two, you're there to, one, with Rocky Bleier, who's a veteran and basically in the Ring of Honor. I think, if I'm not mistaken, 2 Hall of Famer, Rocky Bleier. But also, too, to cherish and celebrate people keeping their jobs in the States. I don't get it. Brian Thompson with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much, sir. Beanie certainly did not help his chances of making the team by causing a distraction on top of already being a long shot. And this is like my biggest thing too. And this is a great point, Brian. Like, how did this maneuver help you? Especially the way that the Roonies do business. I mean, you're creating basically a shitstorm in the national media, and he was getting crushed today on social media from a number of different people. There were some West Virginia, obviously most West Virginia fans loved it, which is not surprising. Some Pitt fans understood it because they said it was part of a rivalry. But to your point here, for Beanie's portion, how is that going to help? How is that distraction going to help you? Like, how is that going to help you make the team when you're already a long shot? And analysts and expert analysts in the NFL insiders have said he's more than likely to get cut. I mean, I don't get it, man. I really don't. And again, I'm all about, I love rivalries. I love the backyard brawl. I've been a component where I talked about on the video that I dropped on the channel here for Penn State and Pitt, which I think after this whole entire week and a half of people stalking me, I've had Penn State fans stalk me, try to send me messages, try to find my location, beyond creepy, super weird individuals from Penn State. I talked about Penn State and West Virginia in the backyard brawl and said those guys should play really every year or in a rotation because it's a rivalry game. They're fun for college football. They're regional rivalries. They've played so many times. Both of these teams, Penn State and Pitt for 100 times. West Virginia, I think it's got to be close to 100 or over 100 times. I mean, I don't get it. And Pitt owns the series so far. I mean, they're up like 20 games. But for Beanie Bishop as a business decision, I mean, his agent's got to be like, what the hell? You're trying to make a team, and this is the shit you're pulling. Again, bad business. But then again, he went to West Virginia. He finished out his career at West Virginia, so it's never a good thing anyways. Again, thank you so much for the $5 super chat, Brian. You are the best. I just can't go for that to even happen was just wild. And combating that in the comment section today on X, when I told people, well, what about Zach Frazier? Zach Frazier was going to get his headshot. Doug Whaley, the headshot pictures they have for Sunday Night Football. Sunday Night Football was there. Watch that thing too, which they probably were like, what the hell's going on? Zach Frazier went in for his Sunday Night Football picture, and he didn't desecrate it. He was there. But then again, that's a guy that has high character, understands the boundaries of the rivalry and not to go into someone else's property and someone else's locker room, desecrate the logo. And also, too, he's a starter. He's a starter on the Pittsburgh Steelers. I understand Beanie Bishop has no business being on the football field and probably won't make the team again. But look at the difference there. Zach Frazier, who grew up hating Pitt, a West Virginia native, 4-year starter at West Virginia, was there 3 years more than Beanie Bishop, and you're telling me this is an issue? Unreal. If Kenny came to visit Pitt and went over to the Steelers side and did that, they wouldn't stop talking about it for at least a week. They wouldn't stop talking about that for at least 3 months. And obviously all the creeps and the stalkers would almost certainly be out, and they would be talking about it. It's just, there's got to be, there's always been a level of respect off the field. And back in the day, I can tell you this, man, if you had Doran Dickerson in there, Pinkston in there, if you had, Chris Jacobson, Miles Carrigan, Greg Romeus, all those guys. And even during even the early portion of Narduzzi's era, a Juan Price, if he would have caught that, he had grabbed him. I mean, the amount of guys that have gone through the system. Can you imagine HB Blades back in the day, HB Blades grabbing that? He would have absolutely just crushed them. Another super chat, Daminals 76. PFF rated Weenie Bishop as the 157th best cornerback in the NFL. I mean, that in itself right there. I mean, the guy is trying to make a roster, and this is the stuff that you're going to do? I mean, you want to talk about just bad PR overall, just stupidity. Just when you look at just why? Of all the things to do, you could have taken a picture, anything else. But to do that while nobody else is around, by the way, either. Nobody else is in the room to combat that. It's incredible to me. And again, I understand that the backyard brawl is, West Virginia Super Bowl. I got news for you. They've got a whole new roster this year. And I can tell you for a fact, these Pitt guys have certainly found out and watched Rich Rodriguez certainly talk about the rivalry and bring back the heat and the hatred. I agree with it, and I love it because he's talking about it. He's not desecrating anything. But also, too, that's great you're talking about it. You better get after it, buddy. You got a whole brand new team. If you think that this football team's not going to come up there, potentially 2 All-Americans at linebacker, an incredibly veteran, talented defensive tackle room with Sean Fitzsimmons, Nick James, Francis Brayu, Jasir Whittington. I mean, dude. On the back end, you got Cruz Brookins, Javon McIntyre, Jesse Anderson, Taman Lynham. All those guys. And I got news for you too. The offensive line for Pitt. You got the guys who are here for how many years? Ryan Bayer, Jackson Brown, Lyndon Cooper, B.J. Williams. B.J. Williams is a tough dude. He's a tough dude, and I can promise you this: they've taken it personally. There's always a different level of hatred when the lights come on for the backyard brawl. But when you make this personal and you put it on a national scale, good luck, my man. Good luck. And I can tell you this: Pitt's going to try to put up 100 on them. Again, thank you. PFF rated Weenie Bishop as the 157th best cornerback in the NFL. Again, guy's garbage. Thank you again for the super chat. Have you ever attended a backyard brawl game in Morgantown, JJ? How was your experience? John, yes, I did when I was younger. I've gone one time. I want to say pretty much while I was wrapping up. I think I want to say it was in between 08 08 and 2010. I can't remember which year. I have to go back and see which one we were down there. But like, when you're down there, the majority of the time, like they're pretty nice. But then like while you're walking, if you're wearing Pitt shit, I mean, you're just getting berated by shit. Now, did we like even as a kid, did I see stuff get thrown? When I was with my parents and whatnot and my friends? Yeah, I mean, they're always throwing stuff down there, and I get that to the extent of what they're doing, but that's just beyond stupid how they act and what they do. Now, was my experience extremely horrible? No. Did we get stuff thrown at us, especially too in 2007 when we were down there? That's what it was. 2007. I was down there for 13-9, but then so I've been there twice. So we were down there in 10, I think it was 2007 because the Shady McCoy game and Pat Bostic, and then what was it? 2009. I'm guessing 2009 is the second time I was down there. The 13-9 game was incredible. I mean, as a kid, I mean, just the atmosphere was just incredible. But overall, was my experience horrible? No. Now, after that 13-9 game, I think it was getting pretty heated. I mean, we were pretty much guarding each other because you got the lunatics that are out on the loose. But I mean, there has been numerous friends of mine since then that were down the last time that we were down there. And not last year, 2 years ago, they had shit thrown at them. I mean, I had guys growing up that tell me they had stuff thrown at them, batteries thrown at them, beer cans thrown at them, beer bottles thrown at them. I mean, beyond stuff that's been said to them. Again, I understand the rivalry portion of it, but at the end of the day, like, why would you, some of the stuff they just say is just outlandish, but it's part of the rivalry, but don't be threatening to grab somebody or hit somebody after you lose a game. Like, what the hell? But I mean, besides that, though, when you're in the game, they're actually nice when you're in the stadium. And then, if something doesn't go their way, they start berating you towards the end of the game if they're going to lose. Kuz's Corner, again, covers West Virginia. If you haven't done so, make sure you follow him on Kuz's Corner. Since they started selling alcohol in the stadium and stopped allowing people to leave and come back in, it's settled down. Yeah, that's a good thing. I mean, because as a kid, even as a kid, when I was there, when you're in the game, more people are focused on the game, so less shit's going on. But when you're like walking in or like you're tailgating, I mean, like the berating was just ridiculous. Now, again, I've had friends that have had shit thrown at them. They've been scared shitless. I mean, the amount of people that have told me that they'll never go back to Morgantown to watch a game is a lot. I mean, and again, I don't blame them because, while my experiences weren't horrible, they were bad, but not horrible. The people that I know, man, there was bad shit. But then again, I'm glad to see they started selling alcohol in the stadium. It makes it better anyways. I've never seen a WVN throw a battery or beer bottle. I'm sure it's happened some, but I've never witnessed it. That's a good thing. But we had batteries thrown at us, and it was like, every, like, to your point, yeah, every fan base has idiots. But at the end of the day, I understand why Pitt fans don't want to go down there. Again, do I want to go down there this coming year? I actually do. For me personally, I want to go to that game because, one, it's a rivalry game. It's been since I was a kid, 2007, 2009, when we were down there, and I want to go to that game again. Honestly, Saul's better handle this before them boys are in the building. Don't know what you mean. I know Saul's what plays for the Steelers now. He's working out with the Steelers because of the Boswell contract issue thing. But at the end of the day, to get to my point, guys, there's just a line that's crossed. And again, I am by no imaginations. DJ Weeze, do I want to go? Yes. Should I go with my mouth? No. That's a good point. But to the extent of basically stomping on a Pitt logo in their locker room, it's different. If he takes a picture, if he posts a picture with the poop emoji, that'd have been fine. Whatever. Everyone does that. It's not a big deal. But then again, like, when Doug Whaley was on 93.7 The Fan today, and when Doran Dickerson saying, one, they would have grabbed that dude. If they would have seen that happening in their locker room, that guy's probably getting his ass kicked. And I completely agree with that. Especially, too, Jason Pinkston and them guys in the day. Oh, my God. HB Blades. It wouldn't have even been a contest. Chris Jacobson in the day. Miles Carrigan. I mean, Scott McKillop. Jonathan Baldwin. Oh, my God. But the point is, though, Zach Frazier went in there too, and Doug Whaley talked about this. Zach Frazier went in there, took his Sunday Night Football headshot, was out the door. Beanie Bishop's got to go out and do something because he's a guy that's not a starter, has no importance on the football team, and is more than likely going to get cut from the Steelers. It is what it is. I thought it was almost an insult to the entire city with the emoji over the city name. I wasn't even mad about that because they have their chant, whatever they do. That's why I laughed when they got mad at Keaton Slovis. That didn't make any sense to me. But I was fine with that if it was a picture. But the fact it's a video and you're just jumping on the logo in our locker room, when we're allowing you in there. Again, Pitt pays for their side. They pay for everything on their side, just like the Steelers pay for everything on their side. And as I told people before, Acrisure Stadium, or Heinz Field when it was built, is due to the fact that Pitt helped make that happen. The Steelers needed Pitt to move from Pitt Stadium to downtown Pittsburgh because the vote downtown, everybody can look it up, the vote from the city of Pittsburgh to the taxpayers was a crushing no. Over 85% of people said no, they didn't want to fund a new stadium. But the way that you were able to overturn that is when two teams needed to use a stadium, and that's why they did. Preferably back in the day, they tried to make it a thing. Well, it's going to help recruiting because they're playing in an NFL stadium. Again, I can't wait till that on-campus stadium is going to be done, and when they get after it and an announcement's out in 26 or 27. I can't wait. And when guys like Alan Green and Joan Gable call it necessity, I'm ready for them to have their own place. The Southside facility is a whole different story. I think eventually, the Steelers will move out of there. They brought some people on. I think they may build their own facility because the ratings every year that come out that talk about the Steelers side of the facility is an absolute joke. If you walk through Pitt side and the Steelers side, you would be absolutely mind blown. Pitt side's worth hundreds of millions of dollars with the amount of work they've put in there. And again, for the third time in 7 years, they've dumped in there millions of dollars to upgrade the locker room that's currently in there again. But the Steelers have done nothing. They still have individual chairs. That's how bad it is on that side. It's bare bones. I remember was it Ryan Clark's or it was Peterson, the cornerback who was playing safety. He played corner and safety the past couple of years before he was out last year from the Steelers. Talked about how guys like him, Cam Hayward, Juju Smith-Schuster had to go down to the Fairmont Hotel downtown to use a sauna because the Steelers didn't have a sauna. They finally just got one. That's mind-blowing. That's horrible for an NFL. That's horrible for an NFL football team. Horrible. Oh, for sure. That was just added fuel. I was irate this morning when I saw it. Yeah, ridiculous. And again, I might try to find. Maybe I can find Adam Crowley. Let me see here. Let me see if I can find the video here. Oh yeah, this was really irate here. I'm going to share my screen with you guys here because here is the initial video that happened this morning. I was watching this. Mark Kambali will blame Pitt for not having a sauna. Yeah, I know exactly. He's another one that's because he's basically covering the Steelers, who's got to suck up to them a lot. Oh well, it's Pitt's fault. Well, why is Pitt's side 20 times nicer and hundreds of millions of dollars more than the other side? Let me see here. Let me share my screen with you guys here. Yeah, they posted Trouble in Paradise. This was a pretty wild segment.
That's more than disrespect. That's out of line.
Do you think that? Yeah, but because of that, I could see him using that as motivation. Look at this guy who's a Pittsburgh Steeler crossing the line. Look at these guys.
I don't think he even needs to say anything. I think it's already been said, so I wouldn't even harp on it at this point.
If I may, too, does that action make the NCAA more likely to schedule Pitt in West Virginia? They have nothing to do with scheduling. But that's okay. Whoever schedules. Pitt and West Virginia schedule. It has not. This is no effect. I'm sorry. Okay. I get. Does that action make all the more likely to schedule these games? It has nothing to do with whether they're going to schedule the game or not. But you see what I'm saying? So then, how does that help the rivalry? It just hypes people up to watch the rivalry? People jacked up. It's June 4th, and we're talking about the rivalry.
412-928-9370.
Crowley was so
I'd love to
defensive
hear
on the show.
Caller's Opinion on
I agree with that.
because this is way too far. This has nothing to do with the rivalry. This is just pure disrespect of somebody's.
You're trying to make it about the rivalry. We're talking about Beanie Bishop doing a dumb thing as a professional football player.
Exactly.
Hey, well, he did it because of the rivalry.
How do you know that?
I mean, let's not be obtuse here, man.
Oh, it's not being cute either. I mean, come on now. We're talking about triangles.
Okay, that's fine, but we're talking about what he did, and he did it because, and I'm not excusing him.
So his full intention was, yes, this is going to help the rivalry. This is going to motivate.
His full intention is he's a mountaineer who hates Pitt, Callis.
He used to be a mountaineer. He's Pittsburgh.
Once a mountaineer, always a mountaineer. 412-928-9370.
Crowley is so defensive on this show.
So if I went down there right now,
Yes,
and I did the same thing, you don't think people would be upset?
they'd absolutely be upset.
You don't think it'd be too far that I would go in there and
To me, it's very similar to what Cincinnati does, or the Ravens, or
DJF
the Titans
coming up.
did with the terrible tap. Like people would get
game
people would get very pissed.
with current players?
I'm not saying.
Well,
When did I say West Virginia fans wouldn't get pissed about this? And Callis, butt out, man. You went to friggin' Waynesburg.
Yeah, get out of here. I played more sports than you did in my life.
Like, what kind of comment is that
I
from
went down
Crowley?
to the studio right now, 100.7 Star, and just yelled, woo! Because I'm perceived to be mad at Bubba for this lineup. Like, oh, no, I'm a professional. I'm a professional radio guy, and I'm being a professional for this baseball game. I'm not going to do that just because it's going to give more attention to this game I'm playing on Saturday. It would be a dumb thing for me to do.
I mean, Pat Fryermuth, it goes over to the Pitt facility all the time. He would never do that.
That's because Penn State looks at Pitt as Akron, which we've disagreed with, and I disagree with, but he doesn't care.
I mean, there's a lot of former West Virginia. Why didn't Zach Frazier go? Why isn't Zach?
There's Zach Frazier.
Just because Zach Frazier wouldn't do it. And again, I'm not defending the guy, but it's rivalry.
What are you defending then? Like, I don't.
Harry, enough. Get
Harry.
to the calls. 412-928-9370. How does this make you feel as a Pitt fan? West Virginia fans, if you want to chime in on the Pitt flagship, you can at 412-928-9370. That's next. Ray Fittipaldo at the top of the hour. First, a Harry headline.
This is hilarious right here. This is hilarious.
Headlines powered by Bowser Genesis of Monroeville.
The Pitt and West Virginia rivalry is somehow renewed because Beanie Bishop put his feet on the Pitt logo. I'm sure you all are thinking about the backyard brawl right now because he did that. For more Fan headlines, go to 937thefan.com.
Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
Oh, it's hilarious. Then there's a part two. There's a part two down here where I think he just goes off. I think this is the DJ's the ice cream
Beanie
one.
Bishop, Steelers cornerback, took an Instagram video of his feet with cleats on, dragging them over a carpet at the Pitt facility, put a poop emoji over the University of Pittsburgh. Then he talked about it a little bit after practice. How do you feel about it? 412-928-9370. Texter writes in, what Bishop did was immature. Be a grown man and professional. Crowley likes it because he's also immature. Well, I am that. I just yelled at Nicholas Harry Callis. Loudly.
On or off the air when I left?
On.
Okay.
On.
Yeah, you said butt out. You played D3 baseball, and that's.
No, I said, butt out, you went to Waynesburg. We're having a impassioned conversation between an All-American Pitt tight end.
Crowley, the last time you were in a locker room for serious competition, you guys got ice cream after the game. Like,
When was the last time you played in a competition?
I was 20, and I was at Waynesburg playing D3 baseball in college. So
Yeah, how many games you played?
More than you.
Okay.
More than you. That's the fact. And we didn't have ice cream after the game.
Harry, I'm not questioning your athletic prowess.
But you are if you're saying you butt out. You told me to butt out of the conversation before, and I'm tired of this. You told me to butt out because I played D3 baseball. So
Harry.
get out of here. Get out of here. Don't talk to me. I'm done now. You take the callers. You told me to take the callers. Take the callers. There's 6 on hold. Let's go.
He's mad for real.
Yes.
It wasn't butt out because he had
Take the callers.
Harry. It wasn't butt out because he played D3 baseball. He didn't go to West Virginia or Pitt. That's all.
He's allowed to have an opinion though. That is such a stupid comment. And Crowley got really up in arms there. I mean, at the end of the day, he got caught with his hand in the cookie jar there. you know, that was Crowley right there. He wasn't a guy, you know, talking as a co-host on 90% of the Fan. That was Adam Crowley talking as a West Virginia fan and was just getting roasted because he does that kind of stuff sometimes. And again, I actually like him when he's on there. You know, I don't listen to 90% of the Fan very often. It comes on in the morning whenever I'm driving into work because obviously I listen to it because Doran Dickerson's on there. And they have good guests on there in the morning, especially when Doug Whaley comes on. But man, some of the comments from Adam Crowley in there, like trying to tell Callis to like shut up because you didn't go to West Virginia or Pitt. Like, I mean, he didn't go to Pitt, but he is a Pitt fan. He's allowed to have an opinion. I mean, like, I don't know. That was. I watched that live this morning. That was crazy. DJ Weeze, LOL. I laughed my ass off. A woman throw a French fry at me when I attend the game in Morgantown in 1993. Damn. I wonder what kind of French fry it was. All right. Well, guys, I don't see any more super chats here. Brian Thompson, thank you, sir, as always, for the super chat. Daminals, 76. PFF rated Beanie Bishop is the 157th best cornerback in the NFL. Thank you for the super chat as well. Appreciate it as always. Guys, don't see any more super chats in here. Wanted to jump on here because this was a wild one today on Twitter. I mean, it was a crazy discussion going on between, you know, Pitt and West Virginia and just fans overall. And then, of course, Penn State fans got to find a way to make it about themselves and get people in here, which was super, super weird. Great show, JJ. John, I appreciate that as always. Guys, again, if you haven't done so, subscribe down below. Make a comment after the video is posted. Let me know what you guys think. Again, we're back for the Sunday conversation. I'll probably release more videos coming here this week on some topics of college football. Probably join some live shows as we go throughout the week. But as always, guys, hit the like button down below. It's free. Hit the like button. Subscribe. For all the people over on X, head over to YouTube. Hit the like button and subscribe. And then again, if you're on Facebook, go to my Facebook page, Talking College Football with JJ Kitchen. Get me to 100 followers, and then we'll be streaming on Facebook as well. Guys, another great show, entertaining day to say the least between Pitt and Penn State. Pitt and Penn State, wow. There was so much debacle in the last couple of days of Penn State. Pitt and West Virginia. Beanie Bishop crossed the line today, and I think that this gave even Pitt a more boost and a level of disrespect because of how they acted. So, guys, as always and forever, hail to Pitt and hail to the ACC. I'll see you next time. And guess what? Go home, Mountaineers.